please don't do the mega doses of the vitamins with children. Studies have not shown that those are necessary in children.
Hello, and welcome to Special Moms Africa, the podcast. Real talk on special needs parenting. As usual, my name is Obafe Kiamilusa, and I will be your lead host on today's episode. In the studio, I have my beautiful, amazing co-host, Tonya Falugi Ekeze. Take it. And the awesome Bukola Ayinde.
Hello.
So today we'll be speaking on COVID and its effect on special needs children. UNICEF says the COVID-19 pandemic has totally disrupted life in every corner of the globe. This has created a crisis that is unprecedented in its scale and scope. A growing body of evidence shows that both the virus itself as well as the measures implemented by government to contain its spread has disproportionately impacted children with disabilities and their families. Some of the underlying health conditions place children, especially with disabilities, at a higher risk for becoming infected with and developing severe illnesses as a result of this COVID-19 virus. Additionally, children with disabilities, especially those with difficulties in the domain of hearing, seeing, and cognitive functioning, truly face important barriers in their access to inclusive public health information and communication strategies that are crucial as preventative measures during pandemic periods. There has also been widespread concern about the effects of social isolation or social distancing on child well-being, including increased anxiety, depression, stress, and concern about exacerbating or relapse of pre-existing mental health issues. The greater burden that is faced by children living with disabilities means that additional efforts will have to be made to ensure that their needs are constantly being met. This is truly a hot topic. I'm sure ladies will agree with me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So please stay tuned, because after the break, we will discuss further with our guest, Dr. Atinuke Uwajeh, who I will be introducing after this short break.
I'm Toye Falugi Ekeze. If you're enjoying this episode of Special Moms Africa, brought to you by Simone's Oasis and Africa Business Radio, then why not listen to our other podcast, Represented, Storybooks and More for African Kids. Now, don't forget to subscribe, put on your notifications, and share with loads of people out there. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back. So today in the studio we have Dr. Atinuke Uwajeh. Dr. Uwajeh is a consultant pediatrician, a diplomatic American Board of Pediatrics, and licensed to practice in Nigeria and the state of Illinois.
Illinois
in the USA, of A. She's also, I'm sorry for the humor, she's also a medical director at the Pediatric Partners Hospital, Victoria Island. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Lagos.
Yes. Dr. Uwajeh completed her medical school at Obafemi Awolowo University in 1989.
Yeah.
And has completed her pediatric residency training at Howard University. That was supposed to be my alma mater, but anyway. University Hospital, University, Washington, D.C. in 1996 with a year of pediatric emergency fellowship at University of Chicago Children's Hospital in 1997. She's a strong advisor and advocate for better health care for Nigerian children. Welcome, Dr. Atinuke Uwajeh.
Glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to the Madhouse. It's so good to see you, hear you. Anyway, so we're just going to jump into this conversation. This is going to be a good one for me. People like me that think COVID-19. Anyway, so is COVID-19 real?
Not to put you on the spot.
What's a question?
Well, from a medical point of view, yes.
I like that medical point of view.
It is a virus. It's a new virus that has, not that it's new, but it has never, this particular strain had never infected humans before. So that's why it's new. The way that it affects people and all of that, we haven't seen that before. And that was why we made a lot of mistakes initially. Yeah, so it is new.
Okay.
So it's real.
COVID is real. All right. Okay. So, can you let us know what has been the direct effects and implication of COVID, especially on our special needs children and their families that you yourself have seen?
Well, thank you so much for that question. Initially, when COVID-19 came to be, the good Lord was kind to almost all the kids. We didn't have really bad infection in children. But we found very quickly, in a couple of months, that it had a unique way of affecting certain kids, especially children with underlying medical illnesses. It actually presented a little different from what the adults were saying. And, so studies were coming out from, different hospitals to say, we're seeing these illnesses, and these kids may have tested positive for COVID about 2 weeks or more prior, and now they're manifesting this symptoms. So, but there were still very, very few compared to, the rates that it was infecting the adult folks. And so, but, the sad part of it was, first of all, when all of this started, we didn't have vaccines for children at all. So we're like, you're OYO on your own, and then eventually they said, okay, we cannot give the vaccines to children. All right. But even at that time, we also realized that the children are super spreaders and that even when children, when they get them, that they don't have really bad symptoms as the adults, So for children with special needs, I should even say children with chronic medical illnesses, that, a number of, my patients, I actually spoke to the parents and said, I think we're better off just keeping Johnny home for all of this period because we just don't know how it's going to, especially for those that have issues with communications and all of that. It's difficult to know exactly what's going on. So parents, caregivers, they actually have to be, have their fifth or sixth sense on to be able to know, okay, could all of these going on with this child, could it be related to COVID?
That is exactly the next question I was going to ask, especially children that have seeing, hearing, speaking, all these kind of communication issues or, differences. What are the measures that we can put in place for parents and caregivers to help with, being able to look after these children?
Well, the first thing that we've all said regarding COVID-19 is prevention. So it's important to, this probably might be the time, things have changed really, to reduce, outside exposure of these children in terms of, gatherings that are really not necessary, just limiting those exposures. The moment you feel that something is wrong, it's best to try to get the child quickly to their doctor so that they can be checked. All right. But remember now that it's a virus. So viruses they would run their course really, no matter what we do. So all of the medications and all of that, really, they're preventive. But please don't do the mega doses of the vitamins for children. Studies have not shown that those are necessary in children. All right. Don't give medications that your doctors have not given to you, to your child, So many things are out there, we had too many medications initially that, the prices, people just went and, it shot up because
the panic buying, right? So that drove the cost.
I don't want to mention any medications now, but please, please do not give a medication that has not been prescribed by your doctor to your child.
So I've got a question. in that, the best method to deal with COVID-19 is prevention, limiting this exposure, and like unnecessary parties do not go to, all those kind of things, right? Washing hands, obviously, general cleanliness. But for some children, like the mask wearing is impossible.
Yes.
Like my daughter.
It's an issue.
It is.
So how, when, for example, schools mandate that, or certain schools mandate that children wear masks, how do we navigate that for a child, which is, it's just impossible for them to, if they can't even wear the mask, they don't
articulate and understand why you need them to wear the mask. And it's not only just children with special needs. Even, just any child, trying to make them, first we said if a child is less than 2, they don't need to have masks on. All right. But now, even a 5-year-old, sometimes they're not going to put it on. They throw it away, because it just makes you claustrophobic. So it's really a major concern. And, for a child that you're not able to, cannot even understand why you have those on them, it could be a major challenge. So unless it's absolutely necessary. Now, what we have found really, because, for our kids with special needs, they need physio, they need speech, they have to go for occupational therapy. All of those involve them going out or the caregiver coming in. So we're going to have to appeal to the adults, to
be safe,
to be diligent,
be diligent, wear your masks, because some of these kids don't just even have that understanding. So, they're going to be screaming and yelling. They don't know why you have it on them. Yes. So I think, we're still just going to appeal to the parents or the caregivers to do the needful, protect your child.
I was just going to add one point quickly. When you were talking about the medication, we can really just help our children by upping their fruits, their vegetables, lots of water, keeping them
hydrated. Any immune booster,
exactly.
Good nutrition.
Good nutrition, yes. Adequate hydration.
Lots of nice chicken soup.
Initially when COVID started, I stopped everything, practically everything. I stopped the therapy. I stopped the caregivers running shifts, and the assistant teacher could not come to the house, and I was doing everything. I got tired. So at one point, I had to resume therapy. I had to go back to the shift. And I just you know what? I'm going to have faith that this child will not have any COVID, because, it's telling on me. And eventually she did, but I did. I caught COVID all by myself.
It's so funny. Yeah. Kamara, all throughout this session, she's not had a sniffle, she's not had a cold, and we've just basically not stopped anything. Like, she had people coming into the house, she's gone out. But the thing that she does know is wash her hands. So she washes her hands.
Fantastic.
But to put on a mask, even me with asthma, it's really difficult to keep it on for too long because
yes.
I can't breathe very well. But it's just those things that I think that a lot of people just, as you said, it's just to be mindful, to be to care about the next person next to you, and especially with our children, to keep them safe. But keeping them indoors as well is going to drive people.
No, I don't think you have to keep them indoors. It's just where are you going to?
Where are you going to?
How many people are you going to?
Exactly.
My children are outside every day.
Yes.
Outside in the sunlight, playing every day, regardless of COVID. We were doing this way before COVID.
Yes.
Once 5 o'clock comes, they're outside. I kick them out. I don't care. You are going outside, and you come back in at 6:30.
The sun helps.
Yes,
exactly.
you have to.
Remember, the vitamin D that we need. Really, you get it from good sunlight
and good old dust, dirt, and grass. Helps.
So the message I'm picking up here, which I think that everybody is kind of making this mind shift right now, is that we have to understand how to live with this virus.
Yes.
And I think Nigeria is probably doing a better job than a lot of countries in the world in saying, okay, we just have to live with this. Yeah. We have to look after, we have to be strong. We have to protect ourselves in living better, better nutrition, being healthy, exercising. It's a way of life that we need to implement to protect ourselves, not only from COVID, but other diseases as well.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the things that COVID has helped us with, which pediatricians have always wanted, is good hand washing. So, if really that is all we got from COVID, that we need the importance of keeping your hands real clean. And that really helps us to reduce a lot of illnesses and all other contagions as well.
Wash your hands, people.
Wash.
And my kids put their hand sanitizers in their bag.
Yes.
So if they want to take their snack, Mommy, okay, I have hand sanitizer in my bag. Can I take my snack now?
Good.
So it's becoming a culture.
Fantastic. Okay, Dr. Uwajeh, we've come to a very interesting part of our show. It's something that we love to call honest truth. So, honest truth is a segment where we ask our guest for 1 minute, right? 1 minute to really say one thing, one honest thing that you've not shared with anybody, that you might just think in your head, either about your job, this COVID-19, dealing with children, just something that only you have in your heart, in your mind. So, honest truth, 1 minute. Dr. Uwajeh, over to you.
No pressure. Well, I think my 1 minute honest truth will have to be regarding the fear factor with COVID. I actually stopped watching news because, you say, 80% of all adults are now with, and I'm like, we're just going to deal with this. So I want everyone to, just chill out. COVID is here. It's here to stay, but it's, we have a better understanding. But I don't want us to live under that fear.
Yes.
And, that's really what I got out of, just looking at CNN a few days ago. And I'm like, come on, now let's, And a lot of people have actually gotten used to that. People are like, look, we're not shutting down. We're just going to continue as we are. And
so I'm going to interject because I want to ask you something on this. And before we run out of time, there's a real problem with fake news and people refusing to take the vaccine. And I'm bringing this up because unfortunately I lost a family member to COVID. She refused the vaccine. She was immune compromised and has a son with Down syndrome. And it's just an unnecessary death, a preventable death. How do we get people to understand the need to take the vaccine if it's available to them?
We'll just we'll continue to educate people. First of all, everybody taking the vaccine, or what the medical team, what we have said to people is, the vaccine protects from bad COVID. All right? It doesn't mean that you may not get COVID, but it helps to protect you from having to stay in the hospital, you from having to be on oxygen, you from having to be in the ICU. And, some people who have been double jabbed still got COVID, but they ended up not staying in the hospital. So, and that is why, for us pediatricians, vaccine is our bread and butter because we've seen a lot of illnesses that have been cured or prevented by the use of vaccines. That's why polio, where we've almost eradicated polio all over the world. Smallpox is a thing of the past. We very rarely see really bad cases of meningitis, pneumonia, and things like that, all because of vaccines. Okay, so I'm a strong advocate for vaccines. I think it helps. It protects us from real bad illnesses and diseases.
You are so right about the vaccines, and it's good for people to get educated. I also think that I also believe that people should be able to decide which way they go, but I do understand the importance. So thank you so much about that. It seems like we've run out of time, and I'd just like to thank you so much, Dr. Atinuke Uwajeh. And where can we find you on social media?
Okay, Pediatric Partners Hospital, we do have different social media handles. We're on Instagram, we have a Twitter page, and also Facebook. And, our website, pediatricpartnersng.com. they can always reach us there.
Fantastic. I'd really like to say a big thank you to my co-hosts Tonya and Bukola. And you can, of course, find us on social media with our handle at Special Moms Africa. And join us next time on Special Moms Africa, Real Talk on Special Needs Parenting. Until then, see ya.
Bye-bye. Bye. For sponsorship inquiries, you can DM us at Simone's Oasis on social media or send an email to hello@simones-oasis.com.